Sawadee Cab, Sawadee Mai. That's it, that's all the Thai I know. Been here 3 years, don't know Jack. Only joffing with you, I know a little bit. I know enough to order my food, and I know enough that I understand when someone's not speaking nice about me. Apart from that, we're pretty much done. So today, this video is courtesy by a viewer that asked a question: how do you cope with foreign language living in a foreign country? A very quick background into my learning of a second language. Failed abysmally French at school. It could have been that we just had a bad teacher, but we had two French teachers. They could have both been bad, but I think it was the student that was lacking, and not the teacher and the way that they taught the French class. Now I know a lot of expats don't speak Thai, and that, you know, hold my hands up, I am one of them. I don't know how many words I know, probably a couple of hundred, which sounds a lot, but it's a drop in the ocean, isn't it? Now, you do get some people that are quite opinionated, and I know I'm opinionated on a lot of things, but you get some that get on their high horse. You're living in a foreign country, you shouldn't expect them to speak English. You should learn their language. Fair point. What about if you can't? What about if you're thick as mince? This took me ages to get up to 200 words. Well, you should go to night school before you go out there. I don't think so. I was working for a living, wasn't I? So there's arguments in every camp, isn't it? I pick it up as I go along at my pace. You know, I'm incredibly lucky because Toon's English, well, it's always been quite good, but now I think it's pretty fantastic. So, you know, I'll take the plaudits for that, because she's learnt from me. So I'm a better teacher than a student, aren't I? If Toon wasn't here, whoa, yeah, that's scary, isn't it? But she is here, so it doesn't matter. As long as I can get my kanamu grob and pack a pow guy, you know, I'm not going to starve. I can go in 7-Eleven and see what I want, so that's okay. Everyone at immigration speaks English, so that's all right. It's not hard, is it? I think I could just about get round Thailand on a bus, you know. If I couldn't, I'd have to be getting a bike and use GPS. There's also apps, isn't there, that you can use. I don't know how good they are. If it's anything like Google Translate online, beware. I know some of you guys write in Thai in our comment section, and Toon will read it and she'll go, Google Translate. Why? It's not a good idea. It just does not come across very well at all. Some of you have incurred the wrath of Toon over the years, and she hasn't held back. Mainly because she's not sure whether you've used Google Translate and it's just got it badly wrong, or whether you mean to be that obtuse and disrespectful. So just to be safe, she's sort of like gone for the jugular. And this leads me on to one of the reasons, one of my get out of jail free cards for me not really learning Thai and speaking it fluently. Over the 3 years that I've been here full time, but it stretches way back, many more years than that, when I was doing the work trips. Back then we would go out a lot more. Let's say we were going out 3 or 4 times a week, and at least one time per week you would get people speaking, well, I would class it as very bad, very derogatory, insultful. Might be right, that. And Toon's fear has always been, if I understood every single Thai word, that I wouldn't be able to hear that and not react. Now I can generally hear when someone's starting to chirp up about me or Toon, or as a couple, and it's not very nice. Generally speaking, because I can see Toon's heckles rising up, and I'll be like, "You all right? Yep. I'll tell you later." I'm like, "Oh, all right then." Yeah. So I might not understand all the ins and outs of what these people are saying about us, but I know it's not nice. And more often than not, Toon bites her tongue. Certainly if it's like in the middle of a restaurant and there's a group of people, maybe they're tipsy, maybe they're not, then she generally doesn't say anything. She might give them the death stare across the restaurant, but that's about as much as it gets. And then she'll let off steam when she gets back. Where she doesn't hold back is when with things like the markets, and then people will say something, and then no, fair game, then you just get both barrels. But she's always worried about me, and I think that comes across in the video. She's always concerned about my welfare, well-being out here. You know, even when we see people out at night with a torch or something like that, and she's like, "Don't say anything, just be quiet," or even like, "Shut up and turn your torch off, I'll handle this." So they don't even know I'm there half the time. When they shoot off scared on the bike, I'll turn my torch on just to let them know that I was lurking in the background. They didn't even know I was there. But you know, this is the thing, you know, a lot of us are out here are blessed with wives that don't mind translating for us. Toon has never once in all our years together minded translating something for me. And I'm always going, what do they say? What's that? They're talking about me. We always think it's about us, don't we? And it's 99% of the time it's not. And yeah, she's never moody. She's never said, "Well, go and bloody learn Thai." She don't want me to learn Thai. You know, it's very well documented, isn't it, out here, that a lot of relationships don't work out. But guess what? It's the same all over the world, not just Thailand. Never mind. Got a video about that. And I lost my train of thought. Too busy self-promoting myself. Leigh. There it is. Yeah, there may be a few of us that unfortunately have other halves that don't want us to learn their language because they like to keep secrets. You know, they don't want us to know everything. What can you say about that? I don't know. I'm not going to judge you on your relationship, am I? But you need to get out of there. Do I wish that I was fluent in Thai? Well, there's two ways that I look at it. For the majority of Thai people out here that I meet, yes. For the ones that aren't nice, no. Honestly, I'd rather be not totally oblivious to it, but I like to be at the level where I've still got control of my emotion. And you could say, well, you're in Thailand, so you need to control your emotion. You could go on the offensive guys. You could be like, I am who I am, and if you're saying this about my wife or me, I want to know about it, and you're going to deal with me. That's fine. If you're that sort of person, that's fine. We live in the sticks. There's a lot of people with a lot of guns out here, and I'm not trying to paint a bad picture. You just got to be very, very careful. If you shout someone down in public and you're a foreigner, I would say that is them losing face far more than for us if it was Toon giving them the ball ache in front of everyone else. If you go shouting and poking and all those sorts of things that we probably would do in our own country, done that a few times, and you might not get away with it. It might be a week later. You know, it might be that you then get a horrible reputation within the village. You know, some of the things that have gone against us, like, you know, being ripped off a few times, you know, dodgy repairs on this and that and the other, Toon's handled it. Whereas if it was left to me, I would have probably gone one or two steps further, and you know, then then we get tarred with the brush that we're not nice people. And yeah, you could say, well, I don't care, you've wronged me, I'm going to put the record straight. I get that, I really do get that. But it's all about burning your bridges, isn't it? So to give you an example, very, very recently when we were off grid and our old generator was D'd, and the only guy that we could get out middle of the night, not middle of the night, but not 9 o'clock, was the guy who ripped us off doing our top. And he came out and he got it going, didn't charge us anything. So I'd like to think that he's aware of, well, I think his wrongdoings previously, and wants to somehow make amends that way. We then got him back to do another couple of tweaks, and you know, so collectively he was here over 3 days, probably 3 hours. And Toon had bought him a little bottle of whiskey for the first night when he wouldn't take any money, and then she said, look, you've come out 2 other times, you know, my husband says we've got to pay you. I don't want to pay you, but my husband. And he said 100 baht. She said, that's fine, so I ain't got any money. It's true. Only in Thailand, eh? And so later on, when she went into the village, and as she went past, she popped 200 baht into his wife's hand. So yeah, I think that's a nice example where if you know, things don't go to plan out here, because we do understand the language, it's just a different culture. People aren't bothered if you get a little bit upset, you know, like, oh, he's fat, oh, he's ugly, oh, he's too old for her, you know, or it's too nasty, or things like, bloody look at her, got a Phalang husband, but she's short, dark, ugly, you know, what's he doing? I'd like a bit of that, honestly. Even in Thailand, an old minger still attracts the women. If you're coming to Thailand as a single guy and you want to pull as many women as possible, learn Thai, because you can hear what they're saying in the background. Like, I want a bit of him, I'll try him. You know which one to go for, don't you? Unless she's ugly, and then just go for the next one. Ta-da!